Hi everybody, well it is the 31st of August 2022 and the dev chat that involved lead dev Adam and marketing manager Matěj has just finished, and they've been through sharing some of the secrets behind the upcoming 1.19 update. Now in the chat they mostly concentrated on Livonia. They let slip some other stuff as well. So what I thought we'd do is we go straight to the end. So they ended on this cliffhanger and showed this image here and didn't really explain about what it could possibly be. Now, personally, I think this rather nondescript building could be the entrance to an underground base. We will have to see. We'll have to see. And the other thing as well that was near the end is that they have unlocked scaling in 1.19. So if you're not sure what that means, so in like the DayZ editor mod, what we can do is we can change the size of buildings and people and all sorts of things. Or we can make them bigger, we can make them smaller, but that never worked when you uploaded those objects to public servers or local servers. But now they've done it so that you can adjust the sizes of buildings, so you can adjust the size of static objects. Now Adam did say that this will only work easily for static items, so buildings and things like that. However, he also said that if you know scripting, you will be able to do it for other items, so that probably means zombies, animals, maybe even players themselves. So I think probably on console we'll be able to change the sizes of buildings, but we won't be able to change the sizes of animals and things like that. Okay, so that was the kind of the two exciting things that they said at the end. So I think what we'll probably do is I'll just go through my notes as I made them as the stream was happening. So very exciting. As I say, this stream mainly concentrated on Livonia. And basically, first things, if you don't know already, Adam, he's the creative lead at DayZ. His job is to go around and make sure people are doing what they're meant to do. And one of the community guys that I don't know, but I know of, is Dance of Jesus. He's been doing loads of the changes, if not most of the changes on Livonia that were coming in 1.19, because they've been aware that Livonia definitely needs attention, and we all know that, don't we, really? The fact that you have all this detail and these things, these places to visit up north, you've got all the cities along the river, but when you start going down south, it's not very interesting, and there is loads in this update that make it more interesting to visit these places. And they kept emphasizing the fact that they wanted to do was they wanted to make the kind of the loot routes, the routes into the map, better, with more points of interest, more interesting things to see, more things to see as well. In the way that Chernarus is, like how in Chernarus you start off down the coast, don't you? You move to the north west airfield, then you come across to the chem zones, that sort of stuff. That kind of got the impression this is what they want from Livonia. They want loot routes that take people down into the bottom of the map that is often left alone and not visited at all. They mentioned cars fairly near the beginning of vehicles, and if there's no major internal issues, the new vehicle physics will be coming to the 1.19 experimental, but they need to do a lot of testing, because as Adam says, they try these things internally, everything seems to be working fine, but when you put it on the experimental public servers and you've got thousands of people using them, who knows what might come up. But they're on track for releasing them in 1.19. There has been no release date for 1.19, whether that be on experimental or on the public servers. Now this first picture you can see here, so what they're going to be doing is adding these the little flats, the blocks of flats to Tarno and other cities in Livonia. The idea is to add a little bit of verticality to Livonia, because it's very, very flat. Now, they're not going to add the really big tower blocks, but what's really cool is stuff will spawn in these, unlike the ones on Chernarus, so that's very good. They also went on to say that they're not working on any other maps at the moment. All the focus has been going on improving Livonia. And they did go on to say, Adam and Matěj said, they wanted to keep the feeling of Livonia. It's a very rural map, unlike Chernarus, which has a lot more industrial areas. and they just want to make it more interesting to travel around the place. Their overall aim, was to bring more points of interest to underused and under-visited places to encourage players to visit all and other parts of Livonia. They even said that they watched the recent Running Man video where he looked at Livonia and said, look, this is the problem. This is where we go when we're on Chernerus. Like as I say, you start at the coast and you've got these routes up through the Northwest Airfield to Tizzy, or you can go to the chemical areas, the toxic zones, and you have these definite routes that you can go where Livonia is a bit messy. So the devs do take these things on board. They do watch these videos, and they said, look, we can't do everything, but we do keep those ideas. Now, here we go. Well, these aren't quite in order. Right, so here we go. Amusement parks. These are coming to Livonia. This is just one of them. Dance of Jesus did this. And to my eye, they look much more overgrown than the ones we see on Chernerus. But the beauty as well is by introducing these, it means that you can have the loot that you would normally find in these particular areas as well. So things like the fireworks and stuff like that. Somebody asked, will 1.19 introduce client-side simulation for vehicles? And the answer to that is no. But again, the new vehicle simulations, if everything goes to plan, will be in 1.19. But they will need lots of feedback. So you'll have to use the Bohemian Interactive Feedback Tracker about the driving, because they say the driving feel in DayZ 1.19 will be very, very different. Internal testing suggests that people are finding driving much more fun. And they've had sort of 30 people driving in cars on servers with not much problems. But again, Adam stressed, look, we need the public testing to find out all the issues that we can't cover internally. Somebody asked about the handbug, and they said that's a work in progress, as is things like exploits and duping. They have ongoing processes to try and deal with these things. There was nothing specific to share on the stream, but remember, they don't tell us everything. This isn't a patch notes they're reading out, not like one of my patch notes videos. This is very much a chat to whet our appetites for 1.19. And again, this is just really concentrating on Livonia, not really talking about other things that might be coming. To Chernerus and things like that. Now, there is at least one new military base coming to Livonia, maybe more. They wouldn't show us any pictures, so we don't know where they are. But you can bet your last dollar that it'll be somewhere down in the south of the map, won't it? They mentioned that there's a lot of forests on Livonia. And they wanted to make them more interesting, so they're putting in these clearings in, which look like they're the leftovers from logging companies. So we've got stumps, and we've got these logs, we've got these smaller trees coming through. There's a bear. So again, as you're moving through, it's not just woods and woods. You can't see the forest for the trees. There'll be these open areas to make things a little bit more interesting. Sawmills will be coming, but they didn't have any pictures to share from those. But they were quite enthusiastic that definitely added something to the map. As I said before, no release date given up. They're still finishing things up internally, but they haven't come across any major bugs. So internally, they're still on track to whatever time that they were had down in their calendars. Someone asked about player spawn points. There will be some small changes to player spawn points, but nothing drastic. Quarries are coming. This is one of the quarries. This is actually one of the small ones. There's going to be several quarries, the biggest of which will be bigger than the biggest one on Chernerus. And Adam did mention the fact that you'll be able to find things like plastic explosives here, which I think is very exciting. Will there be a wipe, people asked. And what they're going to do is on public Livonia servers, there will be a persistent wipe, but not a character wipe. So they're going to wipe all the things that are on the ground, basically. So all the bases will go, but your character will still have their stuff on. So they didn't say whether it will be a forced wipe on private servers or community servers. We haven't done a forced wipe on community servers for years now, so I can't see them doing that. But there was no, nothing specific was mentioned about that. However, it may well be worth doing a wipe on your community server, on your private server, because there are so many changes to the landscape that it's going to be a bit odd, if someone's built a base where this quarry is and now it's floating in mid-air. So that might be something we'll want to do. Down south, there's going to be more hunting areas, hunting buildings like this. I think this is this one of the inns, is it? It's definitely one of the houses, isn't it? But probably more interesting, there are improvised hunting areas. Here we go. Here's one of them. So this is one of them. So this is like a improvised hunting area, like a base someone's made. So you've got some tarpaulin there. You've got a little shack here, and there was one that was made out of a bus. Here we go. So this was the pictures. I didn't see one in there. So you see, someone's taken a bus. They've added like a lean-to to it, and I think that's really cool. That's really in with the idea of DayZ. You know, you get down into the woods in Chernerus and you find one of these things. And Adam said, well, people may well use these to make bases, to adapt them, especially if you've got build anywhere on, or something like Dumpra's building fortifications. Summer camps, you just saw the picture, see where that is. Here we go. So there's going to be more summer camps. Apparently there's one summer camp at the moment in Livonia, but there's going to be more of them spread around. So I think we're going to be seeing, you know, clearings of the woods, and then these summer camps are going to be going full of hunting stuff and goodies like that. Again, new military locations, but no specific details. But there will be more teasers coming before release. Devs know that this is taking a long time. But they're very excited to share this with us as well. And then they ended the stream with the news about the scaling and that image there. So that's the scaling one. You're gonna see. So we're going to see some miniature, and apparently you can interact with the stuff as well. So when you make a building really, really small or really, really big, you can still open the doors. But they said, remember, things like the items that spawn in the building will be the same size. So if you make something small, then whatever inside is going to clip out of it. But really excited to play around with it in the DayZ editor, which we can now. But then to upload these onto public console servers specifically, I think it will blow people away. You know, when you come across a miniature model village, or, you know, it's trying to think of the things that would look cool when they're bigger and not look out of place. And then the stream finished with this image of the, can we click in to go bigger? Not really. Let's go back. It's bigger, isn't it? This image here. So we've got like a stop sign there, and then we've got this. So this may be the entrance to a base or something, but I think it's an underground bunker. So there we go. That's my notes from the recent dev stream from Adam Franců and brand manager Matěj. Great stuff. Can't wait to find out when we're going to be getting 119 to get on the experimental and try it out. I highly recommend you watch other people's streams about this as well, because it was a bit difficult to hear what they were saying sometimes. But I don't know. Hype. Let's see what comes with 119. Cannot wait. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below, and I'll see you again soon.